Hi, folks. Welcome, and thanks for joining us on The Cream of the Crop, a podcast dedicated to agriculture. We talk to top leaders, share top ideas, and discuss top trends and products. We get to the heart of ag and put the issues on the table. Hi, folks, and welcome to the podcast. I'm Justin Machel, CEO of Highland Ag Solutions. We've got a special one today. I'm joined by Brent Lewis, our product manager for MarketWatch, and Brian Deese, our sales manager for the product. And we're going to dive into, like I said, MarketWatch, Highland Ag MarketWatch, and what we do there, what that product is, why we built it for this industry, and the benefits. And let's just get right into it. Brent, thanks for joining me here this morning. Yeah. A little bit about Highland Ag for the folks that haven't joined us before, but we're a technology company, and we build great products for growers, packers, shippers, marketers, and our core product, Highland Hub, takes care of food safety, sustainability, compliance, farm management. But the other side of our business, we focus on the marketing side. And we came up with a product a few years ago called Highland Ag MarketWatch. And we just saw the struggles of transparency with marketing information, with pricing, with volumes, and very antiquated ways of doing it back in the day, right? So we said there's got to be a better way of disseminating this information to the marketplace and really helping our growers, helping our marketers do a better job at what they do, right? Not that they're doing a bad job today, but in this business, it's a penny's game sometimes. And every penny matters, every dollar matters. So our company's come up with a great product that we launched a couple of years ago and really getting it into the mainstream today and scaling it. So that's what we wanted to cover here on the podcast today. So Brett, give us a little history about yourself real quick, and then what's behind MarketWatch? Why did we get into it? Why did we build it?
Yeah, so I started as a food safety manager back in college between two salesmen in the Florida strawberry industry. And in that role, it became apparent that this was a problem in agriculture as to how to use the power of data to make better decisions. Ag is kind of like the last frontier of needing data solutions to make better decisions. And so did a couple years with Florida strawberry grower, packer, shipper. And then finished up school and went to work for Lockheed Martin for 13 years. I worked on the JSF program, Trident program, many of the programs that are central to our nation's defense. Mm-hmm. And in a manufacturing environment, having real-time data is critical to making the right decisions. So in my time there, we went from not knowing what's happening on any kind of manufacturing line to having data visualizations everywhere, whether there's lights that turn on when there's problems, or whether there was screens at the beginning of every line so that you knew exactly what was happening on this line, whether it was down, what was being run across it. And that made for just better decision making. Mm-hmm. So it was never, it went from a drop everything you're doing and let's work on this program, or let's run this product, to actually having a schedule, actually having a plan, for every day. Mm-hmm. And that took a lot of the emotion out of decision making. And
you were dealing with sensitive information too. I mean, Lockheed Martin, you're dealing with government stuff and things information that can't get leaked out, right? That's right. So you learned a lot about security while you were there too.
That's right. Yep. So there's a whole lot of things that we had to learn there that I didn't get to. I was on the receiving end. I wasn't on the development end. I was on the receiving end as a product manager of these products. I relied on this to make daily decisions. So I saw the power of it. This was part of the growth strategy there. And so anyway, when Justin here reached back out to me in 2020 and with the opportunity to basically bring some of this same kind of thing that we talked way back in the day that ag needed to the ag industry, and being a part of that was really exciting. So I could see the power of that and see the need for it. So anyway, came on in 2020 and started working on Highland Ag MarketWatch. And you asked, what is Highland Ag MarketWatch? That's a huge question, because this thing just continues to evolve and develop into what the industry needs. And essentially, you know, at its basic form, you know, Highland Ag MarketWatch is an app built mainly for specialty crops, but it's an app that brings together near real-time market transactions. So that's real shipments, real inventory, so that subscribers can have a window into a true market. I mean, that's basically at its core what it is. And we can get into the specifics of that and break it down a little bit more, but that's what it is.
And before MarketWatch, what was the alternative out there? USDA AMS. Right. Talk about what they do and what their process is.
Yeah, so USDA is an attempt to provide that same, provide basically aggregated data to marketers, to farmers, and it attempts to do that in ways of basically reaching out to marketers daily to understand what the pricing is of different commodities, and asking questions, hoping the phone is picked up on the other end, or the email is returned, and with that data they aggregate it at the end of the day, and usually the next day it gets passed on.
But it's a very high level report, right? They're not able to get into the weeds, and we'll talk a little bit more about what we're able to establish and report on in MarketWatch. But literally, they're picking up the phone, very antiquated way to, and no knock on the USDA, right? No knock on them, but they're only able to do what they're able to do, and obviously they don't work weekends or holidays, right? So information is slow to get disseminated to the industry, and we know that this market can change at the flip of a coin, right? Within hours, it can change. So to have that transparency and have real-time information is so critical. And that was one of the needs that we heard, right? So, you know, back up a little bit, Steve Maxwell, you know, he started this company, and he also owned a packaging company, Highland Packaging, back in the day. So we heard from all of our packaging customers, you know, that, we need better data, we need better solutions. So, you know, everything we do here at Highland, it's not us just sitting in the back room saying, oh, let's go create this product, right? You know, like any good business, you gotta have a need there, and we gotta be able to deliver on that, so that way we create true value for our customers and we get value in return. But USDA, no knock on them, like I said, but it's just not enough to do what the current needs of the businesses are today. Right? Yeah.
You're basically asking, why did we go out and build MarketWatch? And yeah, because the industry demanded it. Like you're alluding to, we don't spend time building products that no one wants, right? This is a demand from the industry. We've heard this a long time. Farmers are tired of the unknowns. You know, there's already enough variables in farming, you know, whether it's weather, whether it's what varieties am I going to plant, whether it's increases in crop inputs, whatever it is. There's a lot of varieties, a lot of variables that you know, are already make it a struggle, let alone understanding the marketing side of what's going on. And you know, and we see this in many cases that creates fragile, rocky relationships. There's fear and distrust in specialty crop industries. So
you're talking about like between the grower and marketer type situation,
right?
Because the grower is really good at what he does, but he doesn't understand the marketing side a lot of times. I mean, these guys are sharp guys, so they get it to some extent. But the marketers are out there trying to fulfill retail needs 52 weeks out of the year, right? So not only do they have to deal with a grower in one region, but they're dealing with them in worldwide, international regions, and sometimes they overlap. So you got to take care of all of your growers at the same time, and so it's not just me. You know, I'm the guy that's on that's you know, filling the volume today, right? But you still have some overlap with other supply regions. So a marketer has a very difficult job, and so we've always been grower based here. We want to help the grower. We want to do everything we can to give them the tools that they can to maximize their returns and make good decisions. But to help that grower on the marketing side, you got to help the marketer.
Yes.
And then we met with hundreds of marketers over the last few years in developing this product. What do you need? So let's sit down, let's expose it to them, show them, here's what we know and what we've built already. What else is important to you to help make better decision making, right? And I guess let me take a second here, and I want to pivot over to Brian. So Brian Deese, you know, you've been with us almost a year now, and we were so excited to be able to get you on board. He's just an expert in the industry. And when I saw that you were available and looking, I'm like, oh, we got to have this guy. He's our guy that understands the industry. You've been in there for a long time. So you saw some of the struggles, and you were in that grower relations spot, right? And you were that liaison between the marketer and the growers. Talk a little bit about some of the struggles and transparency and where you saw a use for MarketWatch to be able to come in.
Yeah. So yeah, good to be here today, Justin and Brent, and yeah, so I've been in the industry for, going on 20 years now, between the farming side and the grower relations side and the operations side. When I came out of college, started working, at a strawberry farm, and you see a lot of those struggles when you come from the farming side all the way to the marketing side, and you try to put that chain together, right? And 12 years with California Giant Berry Farms and 2 years with Wish Farms, you kind of go through the gamut a little bit there, and you see all the struggles that go on. But yeah, as far as the marketing side, there's, like Brent said, there's a huge distrust between the growers and the marketers, and any kind of transparency that you can put in there and create that relationship there. I mean, you're gonna have guys that are gonna be growers with you for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
But it's getting that trust there, and that's what MarketWatch provides. The first time I saw the product, I said, man, this is what we've been needing for the last 30 years in the industry. Early on in my career, if I'd had something like MarketWatch, it would have been a lot easier to pick these guys up and have the transparency that we need, because the sales guys do a great job, marketing companies do a great job, but they don't always know what's going on, every hour. They don't know maybe what's going on in Mexico or Peru or, those regions. And if you could have that information and show the grower, take it to the field, take your iPad to the field and say, hey, look, here it is. This is what we're up against. It just creates that bond between the marketer and grower.
Here's why we're making these decisions.
That's it.
Right. And here's the things that are influencing this. And let's all row the boat in the same direction.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's what it's all about. We have good marketers out there. They want to do a great job. I mean, every one of them I talk to, they're in it for their growers. They want to have the best returns, because face it, the better they do, the better that the marketer is going to do too.
Oh,
right?
Yeah,
so it's empowering them to make the best. And you said it, they're good at what they do. Let's help round out the data flow and get the information in front of them, what they need to make the best decision possible. And that's what it's all about. It's unlocking that, creating that transparency, and then making those connections, because now you're forging great relationships with your growers, and you're all going in the same direction. And you know what? MarketWatch isn't going to change the market if it's up or down. Right. I mean, supply and demand is what it is.
Right.
But it helps with technical indicators for each business to make the best independent decision they can within that market.
Right.
And you hope that it's for the best, right? Obviously, that's why we built the product. But you want to have every resource possible to make the best decision making, and then be able to pass that down and share that with your growers. And that's where, like you said, the distrust and all that comes in for people that are not using a data source like this or anything. How do you trust? It's trust but verify a lot of times, right? Well, this allows you to have that trust but verify and see what's really going on in the marketplace. Right. And obviously, the more that we get on this platform, the better the data gets, and the more reliable it is. And that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to scale it. We're trying to bring a great product to a great market. And really make a difference in these businesses.
Right. It also creates, security in supply with these marketers, right? So, when there's transparency with a grower, your grower's not looking over his shoulder going, well, maybe I don't know about this marketer or that marketer. But, if you have that trust, your supply is going to be there. And then, you can plan your business accordingly.
That's a great point. Great point, because you could have volatility in your supplier base if you're not.
That's right.
Why wouldn't you want to be on the forefront of that if you're a marketer, right? Okay, if I'm trying to supply all these great retailers that are out there, I better have my acts together from my supply chain.
Exactly.
So here's another tool that allows them to do that. So Brent, let's get into the tool. We talked about, oh man, we got this great solution, MarketWatch. What is it? Let's get into the bones of it a little bit, and share with our listeners what we have to offer.
Yeah. So as I mentioned, like briefly, it's an app that brings together near real time market transactions. So How does it do that? So we say near real time because we're saying that we're connecting, making an integration with our subscribers' ERP system. So where they put in all their shipments, where they keep their inventory, we set up an integration with that ERP where every 15 minutes there's an automatic delivery of what happened in the last 15 minutes as far as shipments go, what happened in inventory. And so all of our subscribers are shooting off this transmission of data every 15 minutes. So you have real data now. You have no opportunity for modifying that data. Mm-hmm. It is truth from the source, and so that's one of the things we talk about around MarketWatch is it's a true market. Mm-hmm. These are things that there's usually enough visibility, enough transparency in every industry to give you an idea of what's going on, but not in ag, at least not for specialty crops. Mm-hmm. There's commodities that deal heavily in data because they're hundreds of thousands of acres. They're ran by not nearly as many growers mm-hmm. as we have in the specialty crop industry. So specialty crops need this. This is something that is long overdue. We're in the year 2023. All these guys riding their tractors are also on their iPhones, and they have an app for everything else under the sun.
Oh, these tractors can drive themselves too, right?
There you go. They're GPS
GPS guided.
Yeah. So we know that there's tools out there for everything, and it's just way too late, really, to be getting into this. This is long overdue. No longer can we be complaining that there's no transparency in the marketplace, because there is. Mm-hmm. It actually exists now, and just has to be adopted. And that takes time. Mm-hmm. There's hurdles that we'll talk about, sure, in this podcast. And hopefully as listeners are taking this in, they'll be thinking about questions that come to their mind of how we're doing this or how we're doing that, and we want to tackle those. Mm-hmm. And so we definitely want to hear from our subscribers, our current subscribers, and anyone that's interested in wanting to better understand how we're doing what we're doing. We want to be fully transparent. We're preaching transparency to the industry. We mm-hmm. also want to be fully transparent with what we're doing in this tool.
That's right.
And so that we can practice what we preach, so to speak.
Like you said, it's long overdue. This is a tool that's been needed in this industry. We all see it. Everybody we talk to knows that they need it. And when I think of farming and the heritage and the knowledge that the older generation has, and being able to pass that down to the next generation, I think we've even got tools in the hub that helps to do that, right? To be able to manage your farm and transfer of knowledge so the next generation can do what they do. On the marketing side, I think this is going to be a big step in that direction too, a transfer of knowledge for sales teams, sales organizations. But the saying, of well, this is how we've always done it. Right, we know better. I'd like to challenge that, right? I think that a lot of guys are smart. I think a lot of guys know what they're doing, but they can get stuck in a rut, and retail is ever evolving, right? Just humans, we're all evolving. Our tastes are evolving, right? The USHB, the promotion organizations, are doing a great job of promoting more consumption of blueberries, right? I'm going to use blueberries as an example because that's one of the markets that we're in right now. So they're promoting usage or consumption of blueberries. So there's more demand that's being placed on marketers to provide more product, right? So they've got to go to other sources, other growing areas, other regions. So this industry has evolved so much in the last 5 or 10 years.
Absolutely.
Right, Brian? I mean, just, mm-hmm. From the time you were at Cow Giant at Wish to even now, look at Peru and what Peru has done in supply, right? So that saying, this is what we've always done. I mean, I want to challenge that, because you got to evolve along the way, and you got to look at tools like what we're bringing to the market with Highland Ag MarketWatch and say, you know what, let's add that to our toolbox. It's not going to be the thing that solves all your problems, right? But it's a big one that can help you with transparency, and it allows you to see things, to ask questions, and benefit your business if you use it in the right way, right? But just talk about that for a second, how much the industry's changed in challenging those norms of we know what's going on, and this is how we've always done it.
Right. I mean, with the amount of pounds that are in the pipeline, for blueberries, year after year, and with Peru planting. I mean, these sales guys are under a lot of pressure to move a lot of fruit. I mean, they could have 20 to 25 million pounds in a pipeline in a week, and that's something that they've haven't seen over the last four or 5 years, and now that's happening. So they're under a tremendous amount of pressure to move that fruit in the right directions. And if they could have a dashboard where they come in like MarketWatch every morning, they sit down, they look at it, and they say, oh, well, we might not want to go to the Northeast today. I mean, obviously they have their business is already set up. There's a pretty good portion of that fruit that is going to be coming down the pipeline, and they're not really sure what to do with it. So I mean, if they can follow trend lines that MarketWatch will show, that's a big help for those guys, big time. I mean, as far as package types and, hey, what are we gonna put this extra 5 million pounds of fruit that we got coming in at the end of the week? We don't have sales for it. We got to put it in something. We can't just let it sit in the cooler. So yeah, I mean, do we put it in 18s? Do we put it in pints? Do we put it in 11 ounce? So if they can follow those trend lines like MarketWatch shows, I mean, we can be better at sustainability, and then obviously planning out operations on that side. So.
Absolutely. Well, and we got some great enhancements coming, but in 2.0, I mean, we continue to listen to our customers and develop this product, and it evolves. But I just want to get back over to you, Brent, too, and go through some of the technical parts, and people may say too, okay, well, you're tied into my ERP system. What about security? Right? What about the security of my data? And we're not actually in their system. We've just made an integration there, and they send us the information, right? They're the quarterback, we're the receiver. Talk a little bit about the security of it, and then I'll let you get into some more details of the product itself.
Yeah. So, that's a really good illustration. They're the quarterback, we're the receiver. In many ways, you could use the same illustration for sending transactions once a week over email to someone that's going to aggregate them. But MarketWatch is like that pass from a quarterback to a receiver that is always hit right. That receiver's hit right in the chest every time, and that receiver catches the ball every time. So it's automatic. It's almost like it's on replay over and over again every 15 minutes. So we have a ERP integration. Every ERP is different. Some of them send directly to our API that we stand up. Others choose to create files that we then send the data from those files to our API. We send everything securely HTTPS, and once it gets to our system through our API, we're then processing those shipments and those inventory transactions separately. We have a tool that's been developed called Data Officer that is busy doing all the processing and crunching that data, standardizing that data, aggregating it, following quorum logic, active transmission logic, making sure that that shipments that are that are maybe trouble transactions, that maybe there's something that came across that was it's ag, so there's going to be issues that come across in data. There's going to
be some fat fingers and stuff in there, right?
I mean, just the nature of the business, there's going to be problems that come through. And the good thing is because we've made all these integrations so far, we're constantly learning of the things that we see that comes over. Oh, that's a $500,000 flat of strawberries. That's probably not right, right? Someone probably put the sales order number in the price field or something. And so those things are going to happen, and we're constantly adding new flags to check for and ensure that we're sending everything that comes in either goes to a transaction trouble or it goes to the next stage in the process to be queued up for delivery to the front end. And we have a whole admin tool that's been developed strictly for dealing with transaction trouble, seeing the problems that come through, making sure new package types are mapped, new blocks, whatever it is, new customer locations that product's being shipped to.
If a customer has like a proprietary product or something, we make sure that we don't show that to the marketplace, right? So I mean, we're always sensitive to the customer's data, making sure that we're thinking of it from a customer first perspective, and protect them. Let's get as much market transparency and as much market information out there as we can, but let's protect anything that's proprietary, anything that we don't want to ever give out any customer secrets or anything like that. So everything's done in a secure environment, and that's really the magic of MarketWatch, is the engine behind it, right? Because it's easy to get transactions coming into the system, but it's what do you do with all the oddball stuff that doesn't make sense? And there's a lot of that. We've found a ton of that, right? And so you and your team have built this amazing tool behind the scenes that process the visuals, data visualization, and the dashboards. Those are great, but it's the engine behind MarketWatch that really makes it, and that's the value.
That's right. I mean, shipment transactions are complex. So I mean, the average shipment order is going to change 6 or 7 times before it goes from being in a planned state to going shipped, then getting all the way through the invoicing process and closing process. I mean, there's a lot of change, whether it's price after sale stuff, rejections, whatever it is. There's a lot of change that we see, and so being able to process those. The important thing is we went through. You mentioned talking to these hundreds of marketers that we talked to. That was a discovery phase where we figured out we need to draw a line in the sand between what's the beginning state of a shipment and what's the ending state of a shipment. And so that's what we did on this product. Was we wanted to make sure that we understood this is what it shipped at. This is a price after sale order. We're not going to keep those. We're not going to bring that in as far as a firm price. We'll add that back in the ending state, and being able to get to a net report card was something early on that we decided that we wanted to do. Like to be able to look back at a period of time in the season and be able to see not just what stuff was being sold at, but what stuff ended at that was shipped during that time period. And that was something that evolved too, right? Because this tool at the beginning was supposed to be just a simple sales tool for here's pricing, here's volume, right? Easy peasy, here we go, let's make it happen. And then we said, well, you know what? If we're getting all this information from the ERP, not that we want to go dig into our customer's business, but it's if we're getting all this and we can track the beginning and ending state like you talked about, we can now see rejections. Let's start tracking that. USDA has never been able to report that. Nobody's been able to report an aggregated rejection rate, right? Every marketing company knows what their rejection rates are, or you should, right? How do you deal with rejections? Right? Do we have a game plan set up? If I'm a marketing organization all the way across the country with all of my sales channels, do I have those things in place to deal with rejections to be able to get the best return back from my growers? Right? So just that one fact right there opened up a whole nother part of it. We're like, wow, this is just so much more than just sales and marketing. This is business management, right? I mean, just looking at that KPI alone, because if you get a lot of weather in one region, you're going to have, issues, bruising, whatever, right? And, is my rejection rate on par with everybody else's? Hey, we had the sales, but maybe on the rejection side, maybe we didn't have the quality to come in and support that, right? And again, that's that transparency to your part, Brian. You're able to communicate with your grower base and say, hey guys, we got to tighten up the pack here a little bit because we're getting booted left and right over here. The industry's making deliveries, they're making arrivals, and we're getting, rejected. So we need to tighten up. Or quality's on par, but sales didn't do their job, right? It's vice versa. It just creates that transparency for them to be able to dig into. And that was just one of several other things that I'm sure we'll get to in a minute here. But you never were able to see rejection rates for an industry, were you?
No, never. And it paints the overall picture, right? For the sales team. I mean, you're operating in multiple regions, and these guys are wanting to know kind of where the best quality is and that. I mean, if they can track rejection rates by region, I mean, they're going to see where their best quality is. I mean, they're paying attention to the weather and things like that, but it goes back to these guys selling millions and millions of pounds. They're not always looking at the details all the time, and they can pull up that screen with MarketWatch, and the details are right there for them.
That's right.
And it makes it makes it a lot easier on them.
And sometimes you're dealing with growing region, 2 or 3 different growing regions at one time.
Oh, absolutely.
And so you got some farmers are screaming for information, or, hey, why am I getting this? Why am I getting that? Well, because of this. And the other region's doing this because of that. Right. And it just creates that dialogue now. And again, MarketWatch continues to evolve every day, out of just that simple sales and marketing tool to full business management, right? I mean, now we can look at destination and arrivals and rejection rates at retail, right? And how are you doing in your go-to-market strategy? Do you need to relook at that, right? We're eventually going to get into sustainability, right? We're already having meetings on that with customers right now because we're able to pull the data. We're able to start showing sustainability metrics on the marketing side. Guess what? For the farm side, that stuff's going to become mandatory here by 2025.
Right.
You don't think that's coming from marketers too?
Oh, yeah.
They're going to be in there too with it, right? So we're already starting to plan ahead and look at those things that are coming down the pipeline, and it's just it's amazing how we're able to peel back this onion and show so much more than what's available to them today, at anywhere, right? USDA or any other data source that they pull from. So it's amazing.
Yeah. There's it's interesting you're talking about the things that we found out early on, and it's one of those things. Oh, we got this problem coming through the data, and what appeared to be a problem, what appeared to be something that, we got to figure out how we're going to deal with that. We were able to turn into a new solution for our customers and stuff. So, how do we handle price after sale orders? What if I don't get a zero price? Well, why don't we actually just show them what the price after sale orders are, and let's bucket those out. How do we, this was an early on discussion that we had with another marketer, but we provide weighted pricing. So that's a big difference, right, between what we're doing on MarketWatch and what the USDA does. They just take a range of pricing and they aggregate those, every marketer's kind of treated equally by aggregating that at the end of the day. We aggregate based on volume, so it's truly weighted in the pricing. But even then, we still had people asking, well, what's that made up of? Is that spot price or is that retail?
Because there's a lot of contract business in the industry.
Right. And so that led us to think, well, that's a good question. Maybe we should split it up a little bit more, and we were able to do that. So those have just been valuable in that, in all those meetings that we've had with other marketers, and they're giving us their 2 cents on the product. I mean, MarketWatch has been built by this industry. I mean, we've done the work, but there's been so many people that have had input in this, and so we're really indebted to, especially crop industry, especially blueberries and strawberries, and everyone that's had a say in it. Even some that aren't yet on the platform, actually have had a role in building it, whether they know that or not. We were listening, and we're still listening.
That's right.
And it's going to continue to change. It's going to continue to get better. It's going to continue to meet the needs of our customers, and we're excited to be on this path and on the road with them.
That's excellent. Well, I think we wanted to do this in a couple different episodes. I think we've covered the background of MarketWatch, why we're doing what we're doing, the history behind it, the team we have in place. So I think we'll wrap up this first episode now. If people want to get in touch with us to talk about it, if they have more questions, and we got another couple episodes planned out for this, mapped out for this. If they want to get in touch with us and ask questions, they want to know more about it, where can they go to get more information? So
they can call us at 863-940-0212, and then youdeservebetterdata.com, and then at MarketWatch at highlandag.com. And then my personal email, bds@highlandag.com.
All right. Well, thanks for tuning in today, folks. We appreciate your interest in this, and we'll be back with another part shortly.